Was the Cold War inevitable? Have you ever wondered if the Cold War was destined to happen? This question has sparked debates among historians and political analysts for decades. The Cold War was a long period of tension and rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, starting in the late 1940s and lasting until the early 1990s. It was marked by military competition and ideological differences, primarily between democracy and communism. Some experts argue that the Cold War was unavoidable. They point to the clash of ideas and the power vacuum left after World War II as key factors. The end of the war left both superpowers vying for influence in a world that was changing rapidly. Others believe that the actions of leaders on both sides escalated tensions. Not every leader wanted a full-blown conflict, but their decisions often led to increased hostility. From the perspective of many Republicans, especially supporters of Ronald Reagan, the Cold War was not just inevitable but necessary. They believed that the United States had to confront Soviet expansionism and the threat of global communism. Reagan and his conservative allies argued that a strong military and clear moral leadership were essential to protect American interests. They viewed the Cold War as a battle between freedom and tyranny, believing that standing firm was the only way to prevent further Soviet aggression. In practical terms, this meant adopting policies like the Truman Doctrine. This doctrine committed the United States to support countries resisting communist influence. Later, Reagan's military buildup and support for anti-communist movements worldwide were seen as vital strategies. Many Republicans argue that these actions not only contained Soviet power but also contributed to the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union, effectively ending the Cold War. However, some critics argue that the Cold War could have been avoided or managed differently. They suggest that more diplomacy or less aggressive actions might have led to a different outcome. Yet, from the Republican viewpoint, especially in the context of Reagan's legacy, the Cold War was a necessary response to a significant threat. They believe that American strength and resolve were key to achieving victory. Any attempt to compromise, they argue, would have only encouraged the Soviet Union. While the question of whether the Cold War was inevitable remains debated, the Republican perspective, shaped by figures like Ronald Reagan, holds that the United States had no choice but to confront the Soviet Union. This confrontation was seen as essential to protecting freedom and preventing the spread of communism. The policies and principles that emerged during this time continue to influence conservative political analysis today, especially when discussing America's role in ending the Cold War.